So, this video is a bit different. I got inspired to paint something and I prepared the canvas and acrylics, and as you can see, I also have my friends here, and this is going to be my workplace for the next few days. I got inspired by some of the drawings I was obsessed with before. During my primary and my high school, all I did was coloring these squares. I had tons of drawings like this. I was seriously obsessed with all this, and as I grew older, I kind of forgot about them up until recently, where I started being obsessed again with drawing everything in squares. I forgot how obsessive this can be for me. I reached a point where I needed to kind of level up in certain things, and going back to these squares, I think, was the best decision I ever made so far. I wanted to see how these squares would turn out as an acrylic painting, so I had an image and a pattern in my head how I wanted for this to turn out. I made a sketch on the canvas, I marked where I want each and every color to be, and I started working on it slowly. I have to tell you how much I enjoyed working on this. I basically got lost in time, and this is something that kept happening to me every time I was starting to draw something in squares. I also made a few of these square drawing with colored pencils, which you can see on my Instagram profile. The link is in the description down below if you'd like to take a look at it. I also need to mention how healing this was for me. Quite a few things happened for the past few months, and I guess I just needed a bit time for myself, and I honestly forgot how much painting can be healing. I always say how art transforms you and brings out the emotions you never had before. It also makes you to kind of face your emotions as well and overcome some feelings you needed to overcome, and I think I did all that just through this painting. You also have tons of studies about how painting healed a lot of people from their lost traumas in life, certain inner battles they had. So if you ever come to this certain points or these certain points in life, painting can really help. So I would highly suggest that you try this out. You never know what kind of transformation will happen after finishing just one painting. It took me about 3 days to finish this one. It needed time for certain parts to get dry, so I could tape over them to paint like other parts. And the best part of this is that you cannot actually see the pattern up until the end of the painting. This all seems very messy because all the tapings and colors all over the place. Guess that's the reason I love this process in the end. Going through all this mess so I could get something very clean, precise, geometrical, but at the same time decorative and creative is something I really related to, and this is in the end how I see life in general. Connecting dots, parts, pieces in order to get something you will be happy with in the end. Most of the times, maybe some life situations won't make any sense, but I believe we all have to go through these stages in life. No matter how pointless and unnecessary they might look like at a certain stage in our lives, but after a while, by connecting all these pieces, both good and bad, we're all getting a beautiful image and it will all be worth it. And I think that painting is really similar to our lives, no matter how messy it seems during the process. Just trust the process and have faith that it will all turn out beautiful in the end. As for this process, you have no idea how focused I was on finishing this painting, and I reached the point where I couldn't separate myself from the painting itself. I worked during the night, I didn't sleep, I was even eating there while painting this. You will see that somewhere now, or maybe in a few seconds, minutes. This painting was all I could think about. I was curious to see how it will all connect in the end. After a while, I had to transfer to my desk because my back died while sitting on the floor. You will also see that in a few minutes, but I don't know. There is something about drawing and painting on the floor for me. While I was in my high school and while I was preparing for my college, I was always drawing on the floor. Even during my college days, I would always prefer to draw on the floor than on the desk. I just had the much better and greater feeling to actually draw on the floor. My mom told me how I was doing that even as a kid. I had colored pencils and crayons all over the floor, and I kept drawing on the floor all the time while watching some cartoon or something. So I guess that kind of stayed with me even now, but I also need to have in mind that I'm not as young as I used to be, so I also need to take care of my back. Anyways, after finishing most of the parts, I started working on the rest of it, and I started correcting some places where the colors were bleeding in one another. That took quite a lot of time, but I guess in the end, it was all worth it. I will leave you to it now. Enjoy the rest of the video. Kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and let me know if you like this painting. I will definitely start creating many more in this particular obsessive squarish style of mine. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy.